Okay, so we're gonna talk about Isaac Foster. So what we all know, he is a killer, a psychopath. And since he killed so many people, I think it was a reason because of his foster family of why he became like this. And we can all see he has bandages. That's because he was burnt. So Isaac was born in an abusive, poor family. His mother's lover, adopted father, whatever you want to call him, attempted to burn him to death and leave his corpse in the alley. It was an attempt of murder. But this attempt to murder failed. He survived. Now he has burned marks, scars, whatever you want to call it, on his whole entire body. He was then sent to an illegal orphanage by his mother for an exchange of cash. And so when Zack was at the orphanage, the children and himself was neglected. And so we see Zack was forced to dig up scraps, and then later was made to bury the other children, corpses. And one night, Zack was then inspired by a slasher film. He then kills the caretakers, and after he kills the caretakers, he wanders away. He then kills another woman soon after from his escape from the orphanage. He was then found by a blind man, and so he was taken in by the blind man. And the blind man treats him kindly, and Zack was skeptical at first, but then decides to settle down for a while. He then eats the food that the blind man gave him, and the blind man let him sleep in his own home. After a while, Isaac, whatever we call him, he was paranoid and was extremely suspicious of the old man's intentions thanks to his past experiences. And one day he plans to kill him but decides to go against it, and instead he kills a drunkhead instead. Upon returning, he confesses his crime to the old man and was surprised that the man is not afraid of him. The man asks him what he wants to do from now on, and then he sends him to sleep. It seems that the both of them are settling into their new life, and so the man leaves to go buy bread for Zack. And when the man doesn't return, Zack at first was enraged, and he leaves the house with a knife to set on continuing his spree. But he soon then run into a pair of thugs that claimed they robbed and killed the blind man. And seeing their happy faces, Zack then murders them brutally. He then comes to realization that the ones who are smiling, their faces turn to despair, is what satisfies Zack the most, as those people create monsters. After this murder, he comes to a grip that he realizes he has become a monster himself. Years later, Zack has now become an infamous serial killer. He was then found by Abraham Gray. And so Abraham Gray tells him that in an abandoned building that he can become the master of floor B6 and kill as many people as he wants to without him worrying about the law. And so Zack agrees to this, and he goes with Gray without question. And in episode 1, Zack's first introduction pits him as the main antagonist, being the floor master of B6. And so Rachel must overcome this. And so Zack kills the bird that Rachel saved from a part of the floor area of floor B6. Zack then proceeds to chase her around B6 until she finds a hiding spot, and after she turns to the elevator at the end of the floor, and Zack saw this and he proceeds to chase her again, but he fails the attempt to murder her. In episode 2, Zack wasn't seen until the end of this chapter, and Rachel was strapped to a examination table on the floor B5 by Danny, who is also trying to murder her for her eyes. The serial killer ended up wounding the doctor, also known as Danny, and after that, then the serial killer approaches Rachel in order to kill her next. But then the serial killer then realizes that Rachel has lost her willing to live, and the serial killer was none other than Zack himself. And Rachel remains calm through Zack's threats, unlike her prior reaction. And so Zack frees Rachel from the examination table, and then Zack was later identified as a traitor for attacking another floor master, and this prompts him to escape from the building as well. And so Zack struggles to get the elevator working, and so Rachel turns to him and asks him to kill her. By this request, however you call it, Zack was disgusted and he refused. And then Zack realizes that he is not intelligent enough to escape on his own. And so Rachel has the smarts, and he thinks that she could be useful. And so he somewhat begrudgingly decided to work with her. And so, in order for their escape. And he promises that he'll kill Rachel after all this is done, if Rachel helps him escape. Okay, I will probably finish this whenever I can get to it.